welcome back. This is going to be, obviously as the name of this video suggests, the Iyanden Eldar list. You should have seen some other videos by now of how I create these lists and what restrictions I set in place and how I use the power system and everything. I'll also try, probably unsuccessfully, try not to deviate into like an update on everything else. So I'll just try and stick to the army list. The laptop is right in front of me here, camera, menu lot there. Dogs making weird noises as ever, and I'll probably burp because I've just had a large glass of fizzy pop. So yeah, let's get stuck in. Ready. So force point 1 is quite simple. Although this is an Iyanden force, I've gone for, and Iyanden, for those who don't know, they don't bark, that's the dog. The Iyanden are primarily made up of Wraith constructs, so Wraith Guard, Wraith Knights, Wraith Lords. They suffered catastrophic losses against, was it Tyranid invasion? Or am I thinking of a Latok? Maybe Tyranid 2 nearly wiped, I'm sure it was. Who nearly wiped out the Iyanden Craftworld Eldar, or Eldari as Games Workshop Warhammer call them now. So yeah, the first force point is 2 units made up of 10 Guardian Defenders with a platform. Warned you about the pop, didn't I? So 10 Guardian Defender squad. I could go, I think Storm Guardians are the, I've got the codex right here. This is the codex I got all of the info from. Again, I don't know whether I'll use this as the rules for this campaign, or you know, when this campaign kicks off. Yeah, so Guardian Defenders are 4 power, and then you get, for the weapon platform, an extra 1. I could go Storm Guardians, they are 4 power, but Storm Guardians, I don't think I would add a platform to them. I'm not even sure if you can add a platform with them. No, I don't think you can. So yeah, I've gone for, in fact, no, I can't because it'll screw everything else up. I'll have to redo it all. I'm going to go for the 2 squads of 10 Guardians with a platform, and they will each have a Wave Serpent transport attached to them. Wave Serpents are 8 power each, so 2 of those is 16. 2 units of Guardian Defenders with platforms are 5 each, so that's 10, that's 26 power. Like in other army lists, they're never all totally 25 power each, these force points. I do make it up by having a force point that is only 24 power, and that is the force point 2. Like I said just previously, the Iyanden Craftworld have a lot of Wraith Guard, and they are primarily led by Spirit Seers. Now in the rules, if you have a Spirit Seer, then Wraith Guard become troop choices. I haven't adhered to anything like, you know, troop limits, heavy limits, fast attack, etc. in any of the other lists. So this is kind of like a happy coincidence where this actually follows the rules, so to speak. So force point 2 starts off with a Spirit Seer, 4 power. Then 2 units of Wraith Guard or Wraith Blades. They are 10 power each. I can swap and change between the forces, obviously. I thought I owned 4 units of Wraith Guard, well, 2 units of Wraith Guard, 2 units of Wraith Blades. I seem to have lost or accidentally given away a unit of Wraith Blades with the swords, Wraith Swords, I think they're called. So I'm going to have to invest in the squad of Wraith Guard and yeah, build them that way. So yeah, like I say, they're 10 power each, so that's 24 power, 26 power from force point 1. That brings us to 50 power at the force point 2 level, which is perfect, spot on. Force point 3 has a 3rd unit of either Wraith Guard or Wraith Blades. There's also a 5-man Dire Avenger squad. And then technically the first unit that isn't a troop choice, I've gone for 10 Fire Dragons. Why have I gone for 10 Fire Dragons? I'm not gonna lie, I have seen it in, I do watch competitive 40k, grand tournaments and that, and the Eldar forces often have a big unit of Fire Dragons riding around on a Wave Serpent. They jump out of it and totally obliterate a unit every turn, so to speak. But they also use stratagems to, I think, to jump back in the transport at the end of that. And like I've said previously, I'm not using stratagems. But also because I own 10 Fire Dragons, they came with the Eldar army that I bought off someone many years ago. I haven't built them yet, they are fine cast. I still have PTSD, I'm sure we all do, from fine cast, how crap it was. But yeah, I'll crack on with them at a later date. I've also got a Spirit Seer on Sprue still, so I need to build him as well. So at a later date, after I've painted what Eldar I've got, I'll crack on with them as well. So yeah, 10 power for another squad of Wraithguard and Wraithblades, 3 power for the Dire Avengers, and 12 power for the Fire Dragons, 25 power, 75 for 3 power, Force point 3, perfect. Force point 4, again because I own the model, a Warlock Skyrunner. It did have a very nice paint job actually. The bodywork of the jet bike, or the Wind Rider. Is it the Wind Rider? Or is that the person? No, the Wind Rider will be the person on the back corner. The jet bike bonnet was like it looked like a galaxy kind of. I don't know how they did it really, but it was a beautiful paint job, and then I've sprayed over it with white. Yeah, because obviously I wanted to match the Iyanden colour scheme. So yeah, a Warlock Skyrunner. He will be accompanied by a unit of Wind Riders. I've thrown in a Wraith Lord and 2 War Walkers as well, so a bit heavier. But the Wraith Lord, obviously, because of the Iyanden, I want Wraith constructs right throughout this. Obviously, Wraith Knight will be a support point option, which I'll get to in a bit. So yeah, the Warlock Skyrunners 3 power, Wind Riders 4, Wraith Lord 8, War Walkers 10, 25 power. So that's 100 power spot on for Force point 4. Force point 5, a couple of HQ choices here, an Autarch, I own a model, an Autarch. He's got the Swooping Hawkwings, and can I reach him from here? Shite, no, sorry. Yeah, he's got Swooping Hawkwings. I'm sure he's got like is it the Howl and Banshee mask, or the Straight Scorpion? No, it's a Howl and Banshee mask, and a fusion pistol as well, I think he's got. I might get a couple of other different loadout Autarchs. I used to have the one with the Scorpion mask, and the melter, or the fusion gun, and a chainsaw as well, for my old Eldar Yimlock army. I had it, beautiful painted orange and grey and white. Yeah, memories. Yeah, so I might get a few different Autarchs, like I say, kit them out a bit differently for different forces. Force point 5 will also have a Farseer, the Spirit Seer, and the Warlock Skyrunner, obviously psychics, psychers in the rules, but it's Eldar, so they've got a lot of them. Actually, I may include them in the fight against 1,000 Suns. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? But anyway, I digress. I promise not to go on a tangent. Yeah, promises. So yeah, Autarch and Farseer, they're 5 power each. They will be joined in Force point 5 by a Falcon, 9 power. I may change that to maybe a Fire Prism. Different forces, both 9 power, and as well as the Falcon or Fire Prism, I will have 2 Vipers, 3 points each, 3 power each, sorry, and that's 25 power again, spot on 125 power. And then Force Point 6, I have written down here 10 Striking Scorpions. They are my favourite aspect warriors. So I definitely want 10 of those, but I think I'll be able to swap and change. I'm at 10 Holland Banshees, for example, or 10 Striking Scorpions, 10 Swooping Hawks, that's one thing. Stuff like that, you know. Again, I'll probably just get all of the aspect warriors, and then I can fit them in, and different forces can have different loadouts, so to speak. So Force Point 6, 10 Striking Scorpions, 8 power. A Fire Prism I've written down here, but that could be swapped out with a Falcon. Maybe something else as well. I'll have to look into the rules, see what else is 9 power. And then the unit of Dark Reapers, they are 8 power. And that brings us to 25 power for Force Point 6. Again, the Dark Reapers could be swapped out for something, I'm not too sure. Like I said, there's various aspect warrior squads that you could stick in there. At the Force Point 6, it's very much an elite level, which it is for all of the these armies I'm building. So the support points, which I've mentioned previously in other videos as well, you accrue them and then you can buy special things. In certain situations, for example, you'll be able to buy a webway gate, which is in the rules, and it's a build and it stays where it is. If it gets captured, it gets destroyed by the enemy because nobody else will be able to use a webway gate. Maybe Dark Eldar could if I introduce them at a later date, but for the time being, that's the only building that the Eldar can build. So things like an Avid Cane I've written down, and I've also written down Prince Iriel. I'm not sure whether I will build like a fancy autarch and use the rules for Prince Iriel, or whether I'll actually buy the Prince Iriel model and use his rules as well. I'm not sure. He's a named character. I haven't really put it. For example, when my what they call Iron Warriors, another belt, shall we? When my Iron Warriors were going to be Black Legion, I didn't include Abaddon. My Thousand Sons don't have Magnus the Red. However, I have put in that their leader, Bill and Teen the White, I've named him. I don't know where these come from. He will have the rules for Ahriman. Likewise, the Iron Warriors, their warlord, will have the rules for Huron Blackheart. But yeah, I don't know. Prince Iriel, I might. The Imperial Guard, well, Acadian, I have included Ursula Krieg and Slime Arbor and Ironhand Strachan as well, but I'm not sure if Ironhand Strachan is Catachan or if that's someone else. So I'll have to look into that as well. But yeah, I don't know. Still don't know Prince Iriel. And obviously a Wraith Knight, like I mentioned earlier on, there'll be a support point upgrade. And yeah, that's the Eldar Iyanden army list. How long did that take? Just shy of 14 minutes. With regards to painting the Eldar, I have, well, I still need to do the basin, but I have finished the Guardian squad. I'm pretty much, I am done with I need to do the basin on this as well. This is the weapon platform. Keep the weapon free, don't glue it in. They just slot into the hole there. You can have like whichever weapon you want as long as you keep them all, which they're in a box somewhere. I need to paint them all black basically. And then I can use whatever weapon I want, mix and match various armies, or yeah, do it that way. Bit of info about the painting on the weapon platform, and I'll do this for the Wave Serpent as well. I did the colours like I did for the Guardians and the Wraith Guard that I've painted, with contrast paints, Iyanden Yellow obviously, and Talisar Blue as the main colours, and then Black Legion for the black. But then I've used White Scar base paint for the white bits because there's not that many. On this, obviously it was sprayed white, but it was sprayed over the grey plastic just the once. It was fairly watery, so it's kind of I don't know if you can make it out on the white bits there where it's left a bit of a shadow, and then I've just enhanced the flatter parts with White Scar base paint. the yellow, I've left the Iyanden yellow contrast in the crevices and a little bit along the edges. There's a bit of an edge. It's not exactly, is that a highlight? Yeah, it is a bit of a highlight, I suppose. Yeah, like an edge highlight. I've left as the Iyanden yellow contrast, but then I've gone over the flatter parts with Avalanche Sunset. And on the blue, I've done the same Talisar blue, but then in the the crevices, the cut bits, I've left it the Talisar blue, but then over the top, I've gone with Macragge blue, which it's a little bit darker than I was hoping it would be. I do have other blues. Cantor blue might have been better. Teclis blue, I think, would be too bright. And then the black, I've just gone over Abaddon black over that. It's quite pretty much what Black Legion is, tells through. So yeah, that's how I've painted that, and that's how I'll be painting the Wave Serpent. Spirit Stones, I originally was going to do all the Spirit Stones on everything, but there's simply too many, so I've just left them the base colour of whatever I've painted them up, painted over them. Lazy bastard, I know. I did get some Eldari Emerald contrast paint that I was going to do over all of that. I was going to paint them silver and then go over with that, so it's like a metallic sheen kind of colour. Like I've seen it done on other miniatures online, but yeah, I'm just too lazy to do that. Yeah. So yeah, that's the Eldar list, and that's what I've got. What I've base coated, what I've painted already. Well, actually, what I've painted already is a full Guardian squad now, and a squad of Wraithguard. In my next basing, in my next painting batch, I have another unit of Wraithguard. So yeah, that's where we're at with the Eldar. That's the army list. Thank you for watching. If you want to find out more about the other armies that I'm doing, the army lists, please subscribe. If you want to see how this Crusade develops, please note that I'm doing a playtest Crusade based on the Badab War. If you haven't seen those videos, that's just 2 factions. This Absolutis Crusade will have, I think, 7 factions. I've got Storm Reapers, Space Marines, Primaris Space Marines. I've got Red Scorpions, which I'll be using in the Badab War as well. Admech, Cadian Infantry. So I've got a couple of different numbered regiments, but I'll just use the same miniatures for Cadian Infantry. I've got an Imperial Guard Cavalry. So there's a few Rough Riders, lots of infantry in Chimeras, lots of tanks. I also then have Iyanden Eldar, as I've just gone through. Iron Warriors are the main protagonists really against the main Imperial force of the Storm Reapers. Got Thousand Suns as well. I've also gone for Necrons, Orcs and Tau. Now, I have the chance of buying lots of, well, I say lots, a good start to a Tyranid army. I do like Tyranids. I used to have like, there's not many armies I didn't used to have, is there? Used to have a nice Tyranid army, and I loved it as well. I like the rules. Charge 4, get stuck in. Suppose why Japanese are my favourite, some ball action as well. Just banzai. But I haven't included them in this, and I may swap, I'm not sure, I may swap Necrons for Tyranids, or I may just introduce Tyranids. Yeah, because they're not going to be like a raiding force. I could do another Chaos Army or another Eldar Craft World and just have it raiding, or Dark Eldar especially, just have like raid certain areas so they don't actually take part in the Crusade kind of thing, but they do hinder or wipe out, or come in for a final swoop on certain faction or something maybe like that. I don't know. And then you've got like Leagues of Votann. Again, they're an army that they would conquer places and set up their own colonies, so to speak. What other factions are there in 40k that I haven't just mentioned? Gene Stealer cults. Yeah, if I'm bringing Tyranids, I've got to bring Gene Stealer cults, haven't I? I painted up a start collecting Gene Steel Cult box set and sold it. I quite like the colour scheme. I did like it was like a orange and grey kind of colour scheme. For Mining World, it made sense. It was a bit, you know, spaceman, a bit Star Warsy Rebels kind of colour scheme. Yeah, I may go down that route again. I'm not too sure. Down that rabbit hole. But yeah, for the time being, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Jesus Christ, that's 10. 10 armies. God. I might get rid of the tower. Oh, but I've got some tap. No, I don't really. Yeah, 10 armies. Wow. Took me this one to figure that out. But yeah, like I say, if you want to see how this goes, the Absolutis Crusade, how the playtest game, weird noises of the dogs, they put me off sometimes, chomping on bones and stuff and barking and whatever, as well as me belching all the time, which I apologise for. Yeah, if you want to see how the Badab campaign pans out, and then see where we are to start the Absolutis Crusade, 10 armies and all of the 150 in power points worth of Storm Reapers, Admech, Cadian, Imperial Cavalry, Iron. It's going to take a while, isn't it? But I'm getting there, you know. Yeah, so ciao for now. Thank you for your time. Have a good one.